The late 1800s. In the wealthy farmlands of Santa Ana, California, 27-year-old Katie Cook marries the man of her dreams.
I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
They seem to be a very loving couple.
Her husband, a recent widower, is one of the county's finest gentlemen.
Tom Cook is a very wealthy man who has land which is producing a good deal of revenue.
And Katie makes the ideal bride.
She grew up in Orange County. Her father was also a prominent rancher and farmer in the peatlands west of Santa Ana.
I don't think she knows who she's marrying.
To the outside world, they look like a very well-to-do, upper-class couple.
But this refined country gent is not all he seems. Tom doesn't want his new wife to lift a finger.
Tom hires many women to work on the ranch.
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly grateful. Amen.
Amen.
In this good Christian household, the Lord and Master has more basic desires.
Would you like some, sir?
Oh, yeah.
This is the kind of guy you want to keep your teenage girls away from.
So the work went well on the farm today?
Oh, yeah. We were very, very hard.
He is a threat to the moral virtue of young women.
Move along, Magda. Yes, madame.
At first, Katie tries to turn a blind eye.
For Katie, to be the head of a good Christian household was everything. But because of Tom, she couldn't be that.
Her husband's twisted tastes go further than a roving hand.
There is a lust in man no charm can tame.
Tom is addicted to 19th century pornography.
Virtuous actions are born and die.
He loves dirty poetry.
When a man loves a woman in haystacks high.
Tom's reading material was a source of extreme shame and embarrassment to Katie, and she wanted no part of it.
His leg, her leg.
It was definitely a sleazy situation.
One beautiful mind upon a mind.
In this conservative community, a wife without virtue is an outcast.
Women are held as very saintly people on pedestals, doing what needs to be done to make a Christian marriage work. And if it's not working, it's their fault.
Katie was so upset over her husband's behavior and the type of marriage that she found herself in that she started losing weight, not sleeping, and was crying a lot. These are all signs of a very, very anxious and depressed young woman.
Tom pays no heed. He drags his wife even deeper into his perversion.
He brought in a German servant girl and had her strip in front of both Tom and Katie.
Magda.
Shut up, woman.
And this, of course, horrified Katie.
Continue.
At a time when a man's word is law, Tom's wife and servants are at his mercy.
Sit down.
Divorce wasn't really an option. And being a younger woman with no means, where was she going to go?
Stripped of her last shred of dignity, Katie knows there's only one way to free herself from this sinful cycle.
Tom degraded Katie over and over. Eventually, that was bound to get to her. And it did.
(1899), Santa Ana, California. Brash womanizer Tom Cook has caused a stir in this conservative town.
Gone too far, Tom Cook. Slandering my wife, ruining her good reputation.
Her reputation was ruined the day she married you.
He's dangerous for any woman in terms of her morality.
When he slanders his neighbor Jack Grisby's wife, Jack sees red. But Tom's sharp tongue is matched by his sharp shooting.
He was doing it a lot for his own titillation. The impact of that was his reputation in the community was deeply soiled.
Should not have drawn against me, Jack.
Well, Jack died the next day, and Tom turned himself into the authorities.
Tom Cook is charged with murder.
Based on the fact that Jack actually had a gun and did try to draw it, it was considered self-defense.
The powerful landowner gets off scot-free.
How do you expect me to live like this?
It's the last straw for his long-suffering wife, Katie.
I beg of you to give up this ungodly behavior. Renounce yourself and you will be forgiven.
She tried to persuade him to change his evil ways, to come back into their marriage and forgo these other women.
And resign myself to your frigid little ways. I will have any woman I want. Whenever I want!
The man was the king of his castle. What he said and the way he wanted it was the way it usually went.
Tom wants more than one maiden in this castle.
Didn't think she was gonna let you come.
Don't worry about her.
He starts an affair with servant Mabel Moody while his wife listens in.
She would have been mortified by her husband's behavior.
August 28th, 1899. Once again, Tom returns from Mabel's chambers and enjoys the sleep of the righteous.
Mabel Moody is a catalyst. This is the precipitating fact of her going off the edge.
Katie had had enough. Without saying a word, she approached her husband, point blank point the gun at his head.
A single bullet finally ends her husband's depravity.
Katie Cook was a woman pushed over the edge by a vile, philandering husband.
Ranch hand Jim Barton quickly takes charge.
Best to give me the revolver, Katie.
You took him. You took him from me.
Katie lays the blame on Tom's new lover.
She accused Mabel of ruining the marriage and being the cause of the tragedy.
The only way she could leave the marriage was through death of either her or her husband. Katie won that argument.
Katie Cook is arrested and charged with murder.
She, in fact, confessed, but at that point, she has no more recollection.
In her case, it may be true. She was probably temporarily insane when she killed Tom.
For the prosecution, it's an open and shut case.
I've got the gun, I've got a dead man, and I've got a confession. Pretty simple. Pretty simple.
But in the eyes of this God-fearing community, Katie was simply freeing herself from an immoral man.
Oh, sir.
It definitely was no gray area in this. It was definitely black and white. Tom was bad, Katie was good.
He's an enemy of the community. And Katie did us a big favor.
The jury deliberates for just 15 minutes to find Katie Cook not guilty of murder.
The verdict's not guilty, rather than not guilty by reason of insanity. They just step up and say, no, Tom Cook deserved to die.
When Katie returns to her farm, she finds comfort in the arms of loyal ranch hand Jim Barton.
They became an item quite soon after the acquittal.
Seems Katie is just as smitten with the servants as her dead husband.
Katie ended up marrying Barton, raising suspicions in the community of something going on.
To my glorious wife and a bright future together.
Because the Pete Ranch was extremely valuable.
To this day, the folk of Santa Ana wonder, did she kill to escape her depraved marriage? Or was Katie Cook a calculating, deadly woman?
I don't know. It's a lot of questions will never be answered. But bottom line is I think that Katie did get away with murder.
Garden Grove, California, 1985.
Need to check on my wife. I think she's been shot.
In the early hours of March 19th, the police are called to a suburban tragedy.
She's down the hallway.
Sir, wait here. Just wait here.
As I nudged the door open of the darkened room, I saw Linda Brown lying on the bed.
23-year-old Linda Brown, the mother of a baby girl, is shot dead in her bed.
To just be sleeping and to be shot twice in the chest, it was kind of hard to see.
Linda's husband, David, is out of the house at the time of the murder. But her 17-year-old sister, Patty, who lives with them, is home.
Do you know who did this?
You have to tell him, Patty.
Patty not only hears the shots, she knows who the killer is.
It was Cinnamon.
My daughter.
Patty was awakened by a gunshot, and she saw who she believed was Cinnamon Brown running by and out the back door.
Thank you.
The hit-style killing is committed by a 14-year-old, David's daughter, Cinnamon. Police search the neighborhood for the teen killer. But the next morning, they find her closer to home.
I found her.
One of the detectives spots her leg sticking out of the doghouse.
She's alive. Call an ambulance.
She has vomited up this concoction.
Racked with guilt, Cinnamon tries to commit suicide by swallowing painkillers.
Also in the doghouse was a note she had written, which stated basically, "Please forgive me for what I have done."
Police have an open and shut case.
She confesses to the crime. She takes responsibility for it.
In August 1987, Cinnamon pleads guilty to first-degree murder. She is sentenced to 11 years in a California youth authority. Case closed. Or is it?
The detectives who originally came into the case just thought there's probably a lot more to this story than we've yet uncovered.
For 3 years, detectives work on earning Cinnamon's trust. Finally, they tell her something that breaks her silence.
David had married Linda Brown's sister, Patty Bailey. They had a child together and moved into a beautiful home.
She suddenly became aware that she'd been used by her father, and used horribly.
Cinnamon is ready to tell the truth. 5 years earlier, Linda has a charmed life. A new baby girl, and her sister living with her. Husband David is a successful computer programmer, earning good money. Enough to support them all, and his own daughter from a previous marriage, Cinnamon.
I'm making lunch soon.
I don't want any. I'm going out.
She hates me.
No, she doesn't.
Everyone's happy except Cinnamon.
Gotta go shopping. Wanna come?
No, I think I'll stay here. Have fun.
2 years after marrying Linda, David's eye turns to a younger woman. Linda's teen sister, Patty.
You're a very beautiful woman, Patty.
Patty's the next in line to be the new Mrs. David Brown and to live in a nice house and to have financial resources and all of that.
Cinnamon watches her father's affections move from his wife to her 17-year-old sister.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon was very shocked.
It's Cinnamon. It's not what it looks like.
What is it then?
She saw, even at 14, all, the complexity of this and the trouble this could cause.
Please, you can't tell Linda.
David has a big problem, but he thinks he has the solution.
You had time to think about it.
Dad, I don't know.
David starts planting the seed with Cinnamon and Patty that Linda was going to have him killed.
If you love me, you would do this.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Okay, do that for me. Please.
David was very persuasive, and he took advantage of that and used it to manipulate them to get what he wanted.
Now, come on, tuck in.
February 1985. Garden Grove, California. "17-year-old Patty Bailey is about to murder her sister in her own bed. She's been deluded into thinking she is saving her lover's life. David claims his wife, Linda, is planning to kill him.
He gave her the gun, he told her how to muffle it in a pillow, and sent her up to the bedroom to shoot her sister Linda.
But that's as far as it went. She could not do the actual deed. After David saw that Patty could not follow through with this, he began working more on Cinnamon.
Again, David asks a teen to do his dirty work. This time, his 14-year-old daughter, Cinnamon.
Now it's heavy. You've got to grip it tight, okay? I need to point it. When you shoot.
Linda isn't the only person David wants his daughter to shoot.
So when you've done it, I want you to shoot yourself.
No way!
No, it's only to try to make it look like you've killed yourself.
Yeah.
When Cinnamon refuses to shoot herself, Dad suggests pills.
Come here, put that gun down. Hold out your hand.
Cinnamon would take some painkillers and leave a suicide note.
Okay, come on. Take them now.
But there wouldn't be enough medicine to really hurt her.
Take the gun. You can do this, okay? You can do this. Sit down. Wait for a few minutes.
David leaves the home, confident his daughter will do his bidding.
David Brown was a master manipulator of young girls. he could get them to pretty much do anything.
And poor Cinnamon believed this was the only way she could save her father's life.
David gave her a blanket to use as a silencer.
And shot Linda in the chest.
She was gurgling and dying.
Cinnamon takes aim a second time.
The gun has jammed. So she gives the gun over to Patty.
What did you do? I don't know. What's wrong with it?
As they tried to disengage this blanket from the gun accidentally went off.
Go!
Unjams the gun, and Cinnamon goes back down the hall. And shoots Linda once again.
I have seen men who were willing to defile young girls. I have seen parents who are willing to manipulate their children. But Dave Brown was kind of special because he had it all in one package.
But revenge will be sweet.
Cinnamon.
After 3 years in prison, Cinnamon gets disturbing news.
How are you, sweetie?
Police tell her the overdose pills should have killed.
Why'd you make me do it, Dad?
Her father wanted her dead.
David's intent was to have Cinnamon die, and there would be no witnesses to this crime.
This was the only way we'll ever be a family again. I thought you understood that.
No, I do.
Cinnamon's wearing a wire. David's own words prove his guilt. He and new wife Patty are arrested.
Excuse me, Mr. Brown.
I would like you to come down to the station and answer a few questions.
Patty confirmed everything that Cinnamon had said.
Patty Bailey pleads guilty to first-degree murder and is sentenced to a California youth authority until the age of 25. She is released in 1993. David Brown is convicted of first-degree murder. He is sentenced to life. No chance of parole.
The judge told David Brown that he made Charlie Manson look like a good guy because Charlie Manson didn't use blood relatives to commit his murders.
In 1992, Cinnamon Brown is paroled at age 21.
The thing that struck me most about the case is the ability of a parent to influence a child for good or evil. And we saw the evil acted out here.
Cinnamon bears some responsibility for this. Of course, she pulled the trigger, and she did it twice. But David was the puppeteer.
In 1988, in the small mining town of Sonora, California.
Did you brush your teeth?
36-year-old single mom Ellie Nessler supports her family as best she can.
She never had any real high-paying employment. She did have periods of time when she was on welfare, but just had various kinds of jobs.
And
Mummy's going next door for a while, okay? You stay put.
By day, a caring mother.
No slithering out of bed.
Her family portrayed her as a very loving mother, a very engaged mother.
At night, a wilder Ellie emerges.
She left her children a lot. She was involved with the biker community.
There's one in one of these, no doubt.
She was a methamphetamine, dare I say, an abuser.
Come on.
Ellie had a drug problem most of her adult life, if not all of her adult life.
And Sarah was there, and she was in a bikini.
Ellie Nessler is not the only one in town with secrets.
Well, your resume looks good, Daniel.
31-year-old Daniel Driver is looking for work as a kitchen hand at a Christian summer camp for kids.
Is that the good book? Sure is. I take it with me everywhere. Well, that's great.
Daniel impresses with his knowledge of the Bible.
Haven't worked in a couple months, though, huh? Oh, I've been away. Oh.
But his resume is missing one crucial fact. Daniel has just got out of jail.
He was convicted of child molestation.
So are you good with kids? Oh, I love kids. Great. Well, this all looks great.
He was in jail for 3 months, and then he was on probation for a period of time.
Let's do this. You're hired. Fantastic. Thanks. Here, let me just show you around. Okay, let's come this way.
Ellie wants the best for her 7-year-old son, Willie.
Hey, Mom, look at this.
You want to go to a Christian camp? Would you come back a little angel?
It's a promise.
Really, promise?
Yes, I
In
Really?
1988, she decides to let him go to the camp.
Hi there. You must be Willie. I'm camp leader Steve.
For a predator, it's a perfect hunting ground.
Have a good time.
People thought he was just a normal, kind of good person.
He's gonna have a great time. He's in great hands. Thank you.
Pedophiles will do anything to get to a child. Nothing will get between them and their target.
Bye, Willie.
Nothing.
Hey, boys. We're 2 or 3.
Under the guise of a religious man, Daniel shares his love of the Bible.
Hey, Will. There's something I want to show you.
What is it?
It's a surprise.
Can we see?
No, I gotta show Willie first. Maybe later.
Every decision a child molester makes about his life
Wonder what it
is for the purpose of getting access to potential victims.
Seven-year-old Willie becomes Daniel's next victim. It's a brutal attack.
I've dealt with a number of victims who have been molested. It is a very traumatic thing.
Willie keeps the assault a secret. But the emotional pain surfaces in his sleep.
You're safe.
He has nightmares.
Please, Mom. Can you stay?
Many child rape victims that are unable to disclose what happened can feel anxiety and depression.
Willie suffers in silence for a year. But soon he will face his demons and turn Ellie's world upside down.
Any parent would be very upset upon finding out that their child was raped.
(1989) in the faded gold rush town of Sonora, California.
Willie, can you tell me what happened?
37-year-old single mom Ellie Nessler is dealing with one of life's horrors.
Willie, can you tell me what happened?
He did nasty things to me.
Her young son, Willie, has been sexually assaulted.
Ellie said it had really traumatized him and that he wasn't responding to counseling. She claimed that this was going to ruin him for life.
You gonna go with this officer?
Let's go see the twist.
Ellie learns her son isn't Daniel's only victim at the summer camp.
How many?
Another 3 boys have come forward.
4 young boys are abused. Police issue a warrant for Daniel Driver's arrest.
The problem is by then, Daniel Driver had been fired from working at the camp, and he had actually left the area, and so nobody knew where he was.
For 3 years, Daniel escapes the police dragnet until officers in a nearby county arrest him for petty theft and discover he is a wanted man.
There was a warrant for his arrest out of Tuolumne County for the molestation of the boys. He was then transferred back.
The trial is set for April 2nd, 1993, in the small city of Jamestown, California. With no official courtroom, justice is served in the community hall.
In handcuffs comes Driver. He gives this arrogant, look, a symbolic kind of stare.
She interpreted that, as did others, that he was smirking at them.
Waiting in the hall kitchen, things only get worse when another victim returns from the courtroom.
How'd it go? Not good.
What she meant was it was very hard on her son to have to testify. Ellie interpreted that as, oh, we're not going to hold this guy to answer. We're not going to be able to get him to trial.
Ellie thinks her son's attacker could walk free.
You wait here, okay?
She won't let that happen and makes a life-altering decision.
She went out to the car. She came back with the gun.
She walked about 30 or 40 feet.
And shot shot him multiple times.
5 of the bullets going into his head. And she just dropped the gun. She had done what she was going to do, and she was immediately arrested.
Ellie was motivated to kill Daniel Driver out of a sense of revenge. You hurt my son. You damaged my son. Now you're gonna pay. She was a woman on a mission, a mother on a mission. She killed the bad guy.
In 1993, Ellie Nessler is found guilty of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Then, 3 years later, it is overturned due to jury misconduct, and she is set free. But it's not long before Ellie is back in prison for trafficking drugs.
She was found with 10,000 pseudoephedrine pills that she possessed for sale. She was convicted of that, and she was sent back to state prison.
Willie's left to grow up without a mother. But the seed doesn't fall far from the tree. At the age of 23, he settles a dispute with a neighbor by taking the law into his own hands.
He beat that man to death with a pipe. He got convicted of first-degree murder, and he, Willie, is currently in prison on a 25-year to life sentence for murder.
Just as Ellie leaves prison for drug dealing, her son enters it for murder. The two are never together again. In December 2008, Ellie dies from breast cancer.
She killed her son's child molester, and a lot of people saw her as a hero. But we can't have people running around with guns acting as judge and jury, and that's what Ellie did.